Hi there, this is how to make a pizza oven from clay bricks, um, which you make yourself. We start off with a big cable reel and we just want one side of this, so we have to take it apart. And when you do this, all the middle bits fall out. And you take the end off, or one of the ends off, and then you get one of these things, which is a wheel bearing that you can get from any scrapyard. This is a fairly heavy duty item, and the idea is to attach one side of this with with bolts to the underside of the top of the cable wheel, and the other side to a large pallet. And you can see that makes a really nice strong turntable. You cover that with thin plywood and maybe have some fun with it first. Then we get some sand, pour that in the middle of the turntable, and then using a former we can make it really nice and smooth and round. And we're trying to get a really perfect hemisphere like this. It doesn't take long before using the former like that, before it's really nice and smooth. And then we cover it with wet newspaper. That's to stop the clay from sticking to the sand. And then we have to cut up the clay. It usually comes in bags of 25 kilos. Each of these blocks is fairly easy to cut into 4 pieces using a standard potter's wire or cheese wire. And you'll see that each piece can easily be bent and placed on the outside of the ball of sand. Now, so you start at the bottom and then you have to smooth each of the blocks of clay together so there's no gaps. And you work at the bottom and you squeeze them all together, and then you work your way up until you've completely covered the ball of sand. And then what you need to do is to make it really nice and smooth. The way you do that again is make another former, this time slightly larger obviously, and you just rotate the wheel round and fill in all the gaps, and then you get beautiful smooth clay dome. And you can see I put a knob on the top, and you'll see why later. If you want to, you can make it really smooth by sponging it with a moist sponge, and then I suggest you sit back and admire it. Next thing we do is put a frame over the top, which I've made from just small bits of wood I had lying around. And the purpose of this is to provide a secure frame so that we can inscribe lines around the clay to see where the bricks are going to be. And we can do horizontal lines and then vertical lines. And here you can see, you can also decorate it if you want, cut out bits of clay and stick them on. Next thing to do is to make the door opening, and for that you need a pencil and a piece of string attached to the turntable, and you just score the line round and then cut out the clay. And of course, you will then get down to the sandy core, and then the thing to do is to scoop out all of the sand from inside, leaving you with a hollow clay dome. The next thing to do is make the door, or for the pizza oven. For that you need to have a former, cover it with plywood, and then 2 plywood circles, or semicircles, screwed either side. Fill that up with clay, again making sure there's no gaps. And Again, using a cheese wire, we can cut away the excess, take off the sides, and then cut the arch into bricks, which are a nice arch shape, which will hold together without any gaps. So now the next thing to do is to cut up the dome. Here we're taking the top off. And the way we've done that is by using a wire. Here you can see the wire which is attached to the exact center of the turntable. And as you rotate the turntable around, it cuts into nice rings. You can then also cut vertically to cut out the individual bricks. But do remember that you've got to carefully label all the bricks as you go so that we can put it back together again when the bricks are fired. So you just work your way down, cutting out all the bricks, and here again you can see, if you look carefully, you can see the wire which is attached to the center of the turntable. And what you end up with is a pile of bricks, all labelled, and they need to be left to dry. Part 2 coming soon. Thanks for watching.